Let me quickly touch about the issue of northern mentality, about this issue of resources, about maintaining the status quo. Whether we like it or not, the current status quo is not working. You may like someone like Samanekpa, you may hate him. You may like someone like Nnamdi Kanu, you may hate him. You may like someone like Sonebo, you may hate him. But one thing is clear, that the current status quo is not working. One thing is clear, that Nigeria is already a signatory to a UN charter that talks about self-determination, and that law has been ratified in Nigeria, and it's already a law in Nigerian legal jurisprudence. And if anybody writes today to say, I'm no longer interested in Nigeria as an entity, so long as the person is not going about it through wanton destruction of life and property, I don't think the person have offended any known law, whether locally or internationally. I think that best explains the reason the government is even finding it difficult to convict Nnamdi Kanu, because if you look at all the areas that has to do with agitation for self-determination, I don't think there is any charge in that regard, because it's a law that is a right that every citizen of the country have. To that extent, I think the only thing the government can do, if you want Nigeria to continue to coexist as one entity and prosper, we need to bring everybody on board to discuss the way forward. Because if you go and look at the 1999 Constitution and that we are operating at the grand norm, it will tell you that we, the people of Nigeria, came together to write that Constitution. And there is no point in time where Nigerians gather together to write that Constitution. So that's the greatest fraud of our time. That Constitution was forced on us. It's not people-oriented. We need a people-oriented Constitution to move this country forward. The North, I understand why they refuse or oppose anything that has to do with regionalism or returning us to true federalism, because they are the greater beneficiary of the current fraudulent status quo. I personally serve in Jigawa State, and my experience there shows me that the North will always oppose anything that has to do with return Nigeria to regionalism. Anything that has to make them to return Nigeria to control your resources. In the local government in Jigawa State, the one I'm very familiar with, if you are posted there as a copper, they say Baeki. In Hausa, Baeki means no work. By implication, you don't come to work on daily basis. You only stay in your house, hibernate in your house, or wherever you feel comfortable. At the end of the month, you show up, you collect your salary, you go back. It's a monthly ritual. I continue like that. So, under such situation, how do you now want to prosper as a people, as a country? That is why we are not thinking out of the box. All attention is how to explore oil. How many crude of oil are we exploring a day? How many crude of oil are we exporting? That is the only thing we know. Look at even outside the Agbor recently, threatening that if he's arrested, that Nigerian oil production will go down. I don't think the military will be bold enough to arrest him, because they may know the implication of oil production
so you mean,
going down.
The military are even scared of Asari Dokubo?
No, I said they may know the implication of oil production going down. But the implication is that, one, our foreign earning will drop. Exchange rates will escalate against the
So the military do not have the capacity.
It's not about capacity.
The pipeline.
He can be arrested, but you cannot secure every inch of the pipeline, except you have a buying of the communities, the host communities. If you are not having a buying of the whole communities, you cannot, as a government, as police, I think it is even the this agency they created last. I'm talking about the Civil Defense Corps. That had the mandate to protect federal government critical infrastructure. You cannot even protect every inch of the pipeline, oil pipeline, gas pipeline that could cross every community in the Niger Delta.
The federal government,
now,
okay,
if you look at the reason the North want to hold on to it, we saw the recent retreat that happened in Kano State, a situation where someone like Abu Nigi was very resolute in his position that his people will better remain in the current status quo of Nigeria. According to him, that his people never benefited when Nigeria practiced true federalism and regionalism in the past. As such, that he prefer his people to remain under the present status quo. We begin to ask, why are we human? Why did God give us the ability to think? Why are we not innovative? Why must we wait to share resources? And the way they not fit or fat on the resources of the nation at the expense of the southern part of the country is worrisome. If you look at the revenue that comes to federal government through oil, we all know that a major quantity of oil comes from the south part of the country, and of course, is the area of major earning when it comes to our national earning. Even if you want to go into area of revenue from federal inland revenue service. You see that it's still part of the, it's still South largely feed the nation, because Lagos account of about 70% of our national earning when it comes to money that goes into national coffer from revenue from federal inland revenue service. So it's clear that the North is feeding fat on national resources at the expense of the South, and that is the basic truth. And that's the reason they will always oppose any agenda, any proposal that say, let us vulcanize this current status quo. Of course, you cannot argue it. The current status quo is not working. You cannot continue doing the same thing over and over and expect a different result. And I think that is what is happening. We are talking about issue of state police. We are talking about the issue of vulcanizing the security architecture. Under Muhammadu Buhari, we saw how the Southwest states came up with Amateku. Nice idea. In the wisdom of the late governor of Akeredolu,
yeah, Ondo State,
who I salute his courage, was resolute in his position. But the only thing that was lacking is that for you to bear arm to the level of combating crime, at that level, you need some level of weapon. I'm talking about AK-47, yes, AK-49, yes, and co. And you must get an end-user certificate from the Office of the National Security Advisor, and this the people could not get under Muhammadu Buhari. That's why I even encourage the current president, I'm talking about Senator Bola Tinubu, to see to it that this security arrangement at the state level, like Amateku, like Ibubago in the eastern part of the country, maybe some other states will come up with their own, but let it be under the watchful eye of some federal agencies so that they don't abuse it. But what we are saying is that we need to police the people, we need to police the environment. That's the only way you can address the challenge you have as a people.
Mr. Martin,
because you cannot take away the fact that the Fulani people have been tagged, not by Nigeria, not by Nigerian government, not by Nigerians, but by the world as the fourth most dangerous terrorist organization in the world. And this is according to Global Terrorism Index. So if they are wreaking havoc, we saw under the last administration how they attempted to even destroy a sitting government. I'm talking about autumn. So for me, I think we must come back to the...
Well, Mr. Matthew, I wanted to take you on this, that this bill of state policing has actually hit a roadblock because some northern senators are against it, saying that there will be excesses of the state governors. But I am suspecting maybe they feel this will be a threat to the Fulanese. And well, let me also go to this other one. There are so many rumors that Igboho, Simon Ekpa, Nnamdi Kanu are just tools that Tinubu wants to use for negotiation against the North come 2027. Because don't forget, the North are scared for Mazin Nnamdi Kanu or a Yoruba nation to be achieved before 2027. So yeah, I mean, there are rumors. What do you think?
It may be a card on the table of the president, but I don't think Nnamdi Kanu or Sunday Igboho will oblige to it. The reason is not far-fetched. Nnamdi Kanu is very clear. We saw it was not a joke. It was not a party, merry party when the military invaded his residence in the name of Operation Pastor Dance. We saw loss of lives and property. The same thing happened to Sunday Igboho. We saw how DSS invaded his house at the middle of the night in the attempt to arrest him. How he ran to Benin Republic and was held there. So for me, I think people have made it very clear that we are serious with what we believe in, with our ideology. And our ideology is entrenched in a UN charter that Nigeria government have already adopted as a law in Nigeria, that have been ratified in Nigeria, which is already a law in Nigeria legal jurisprudence. So for me, like I said, it may be a card on the table of the political class, Tinubu handlers. But it's another thing to say whether they will have the buy-in of Nnamdi Kanu or a Sunday Igboho, but I doubt whether they will have that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Matthew,
Thank you for
that brilliant submission.
the everyone can